Joining us now is Michael Beuckert, Vice President of Canadians for Justice and Peace in the Middle East. Michael, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Your reaction to the ruling?
Well, we think this is a historic victory for the Palestinian people and also for all of those who are concerned about achieving justice and peace in Gaza. The ICJ obviously did not call for a ceasefire explicitly, which we would have wanted to see, but they did require that Israel comply with a number of provisional measures that would significantly restrain its actions in Gaza. And I think if they were fully implemented, it really would require a full ceasefire and an end to the bloodshed. So this is a really important moment. It's a huge challenge to Israeli impunity, but now it's up to the international community and states like Canada to actually force Israel to comply with this order.
Do you think they will?
Well, to date, Canada has really been towing the line on this, and traditionally, Canada has supported Israel in international forums, whether that's at the ICJ in other advisory opinions or at the International Criminal Court or the UN General Assembly. Canada has always sought to protect Israel from criticism and from the consequences of its actions in these forums. We hope that Canada doesn't continue this trend. These are very serious allegations of genocide. The court did not have a final ruling on genocide, but they found that there's a plausible case that Palestinians need to be protected from genocide. So the stakes cannot be higher. Canada must break with its previous tradition, and if it cares about the rules-based international order that it always talks about, it has to fully support this ruling and do everything it can to force Israel to comply. It's really necessary that Canada actually take concrete actions. And the first thing that Canada should do is immediately impose an arms embargo on all trade of military goods between Canada and Israel.
And do you think Canada will do that?
Well, there's no indications to date, but Canada does have obligations under international law, whether it's the Genocide Convention. Canada has obligations under the Arms Trade Treaty. Canada is not allowed to be exporting weapons to a context in which these weapons could be used to commit crimes of international law and crimes of genocide. So that's clearly a plausible possibility in this case. There's no safe export of weapons into this context in which they could be used to be involved in genocidal acts. So Canada really, if it's going to uphold international law, if it's going to abide by its own legal obligations, it must cut off the arms supply to Israel immediately.
Now, in Israel, I mean, there was no call for a ceasefire, so they are asking that Israel try and minimize any possibilities of a potential for genocide. Will Israel honor this, and would this lead, if there was a ceasefire, would Hamas honor the ceasefire, do you think?
Well, we can look at the reactions to the ruling and to the process in general. Hamas has said that it would that it would comply with the ICJ ruling with a ceasefire if Israel did as well. Of course, Hamas isn't under the jurisdiction of the ICJ, which is why there's no orders against them. Israel, however, has said that nobody will stop them, not even The Hague. I think this shows that Israel's mindset is that it is one of impunity. Israel is acting as a rogue state against international law. If it doesn't immediately restrain its actions, end the killing of Palestinians, end the displacement, end the deprivation of food and water to the population, it will clearly be in violation of these orders. There's no indication Israel is going to change its approach for anyone, so it's time for Canada to stop giving cover to this rogue behavior.
Okay, Michael Beuckert, Vice President of Canadians for Justice and Peace in the Middle East, thank you for joining us today.